Hi, I'm Adrienne Ross, and today is November 26th. Welcome to Your Motivation Moment. We talked the other day about the subject of pain. I received a lot of feedback from people who really were blessed by that message because who hasn't been through pain? And I even shared my own pain and the fact that I've gone through great emotional pain. But I mentioned how during those times, during those difficult times, when I look back, I realized that I grew the most, that those times matured me. And I shared a story about a pastor who talked about how if you look at different ingredients individually, they would be nasty. But if we put them together and put them in the oven, we end up with something really good. We end up with chocolate cake, for example. And this same pastor had shared a story about how, let's say someone broke an arm, and so they have a cast on for a while. And eventually the cast comes off. And if you looked at the arm, you could find no indication whatsoever that there had ever been a problem. But then someone comes along and bangs against that arm, and the person screams out. And you're thinking, well, why are they screaming out? The arm is so pretty. It looks so good. Why would they be screaming out? And the answer is simple. The reason they're screaming out is because they're in pain. And the reason they're in pain is because they haven't been healed. And so no matter what it looks like on the outside, let the right thing or the wrong thing, depending on how you look at it, bump against it, and they're going to cry out because the pain is still there. And so many times in our lives, we walk around and we insist that everything is okay. We insist that that relationship that failed isn't having an effect on us. We insist that we insist that we're fine. And let the wrong thing come along. Let somebody push those buttons and we scream and we yell and we curse and we holler. Why? Because we're not healed. Pain serves a purpose. But as I said the other day, we are not going to be people who crawl into a fetal position and remain there. We must be healed for the benefit of our own lives and for the benefit of those around us. We must accept healing, and we can't expect other people to be the source of our healing. We can't expect other people to fill every void in our lives. And that's a lot of times what hurting people do. They start depending on other people. And listen, I'm going to be vulnerable here again. I said I went through a lot of emotional pain in my life. And because of that, there were times in my life where I expected a friend to be the answer and to be the help that I need and to provide and you can't. People are not your source. People cannot have that big of a role in your life that you give them the power over your joy and over your happiness. For me, only one should have that kind of power. But I remember the hurt that I was going through, and I was pouring out my heart to a friend of mine. And I still remember the day when she looked at me and she grabbed me by the arms and she shook me and she said, "I can't help you." And it was like someone threw cold water in my face. But it was true. I can't help you. No, she was my friend. She couldn't be my answer. She couldn't help me. I had to get healed. I had to deal with the pain. I had to come face to face with the fact that though the arm looked good, there was some damage still on the inside. And I had to release that. And I had to make a decision that I was not going to stay in the state that I was in. And I encourage you that if you're going through pain, if you're hurting, you're hurting. You've got to get healed. And then you will look back and see, wow, that served a purpose in my life. But I'm going to take that pain and I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to go forward. I refuse to stay in the state that I'm in. I will get help where I need to get help. I will get prayer where I need to get prayer. I'm going to move forward, and I'm not going to expect other people to be the answer for me. And I'm not going to keep putting a Band-Aid on it. I'm going to deal with it and I'm going to move forward. This is Adrienne Ross. Thank you for joining today's Motivation Moment.